Hi, my name is Shane Keeling. I am the Technical Manager of the Kiln Rooms, and I'm going to talk you through what to expect when packing and unpacking a kiln today. First thing I'm going to do is just run through some of the key elements of a kiln, just so you're aware of what we're dealing with. So the brickwork. It is important not to lean on the brickwork once the kiln is open. The bricks are brittle and will break, allowing the elements to slump as there is no support for them. Elements. These are how the heat is conducted and emanated throughout the kiln. Once they have been through a firing, they become incredibly brittle and rigid. If you notice them slumping out of the brickwork, it is important not to try and force them back into their regular position. This will cause them to snap and need repair. If you have noticed them slumping, please let a technician or studio manager know, and we will come and resolve the issue. This here is a thermocouple. This is an integral and fragile part of the kiln. This tells the controller the internal heat of the kiln. It's really important that we are mindful of bashing the thermocouple as we lower any shelves or work into the kiln. If it's damaged during your kiln pack, please let a manager or technician know. Make sure the thermocouple has 1 centimeter of space all around it. Please do not pack kiln shelves or work directly up to the thermocouple. This would affect the thermocouple's ability to give accurate readings of the internal temperature. Now that we have a better understanding of the different elements of a kiln, now it's time to start talking about loading the kiln. First thing you want to do is make sure you're using 10 centimeter props for the bottom layer of your pack. This ensures that the heat is distributed evenly throughout this area. If the 10 centimeter props are not used, this may cause this layer to underfire. Kiln props have to be aligned on each layer to ensure stability throughout the pack, so take note of where you've placed the props. There are 2 types of kiln packs you'll be asked to do: bisque and glaze. A bisque kiln is packed with green ware work. This means it has not yet been fired and is incredibly fragile, so please take care when handling this work. Greenware must be bone dry before it's placed in the kiln. If unsure of the dryness of the work, place it against your cheek. If it's cold on your cheek, it means that there's still moisture present and it should be left to dry completely. When packing the layers, make sure to choose work that is smaller than your chosen prop size. Unlike a glazed kiln, greenware can touch in the kiln. This means it can be tightly packed and stacked. If stacking work, make sure that the top piece is resting on the base of the bottom piece and not on the rim. If it's resting on the rim, it will cause breakages during the firing as they shrink. If stacking works, make sure that the piece on the bottom of the stack is strong enough to support the weight of the top piece. Do not pack something heavy on top of something lighter, as this will cause breakages during the firing. Work can also be packed rim to rim and base to base, but only if they're the same diameter and align comfortably together. Although it is economic and preferable to pack a secure and tight kiln, please do not take any risks, particularly during your training period. If unsure about your pack at any stage and need guidance, ask a studio manager or technician for advice. They'll be happy to help, and there's no silly questions when it comes to packing kilns. Packing a glaze differs in many ways to a bisque. Having said that, the same rules apply for the props. When choosing work to go into a glaze pack, make sure that the bases of each piece are totally clear of any glaze powder. If there's glaze on the bottom, it will cause the pot to stick to the shelf, therefore ruining the pot and the shelf. If you notice that there is a thick layer of glaze on the pot, it has been double dipped, or you are in any way concerned about the glaze running, please place a danger disc under the pot to protect the shelf. We like to put plates in the middle of the kiln and larger work at the top of the kiln. Make sure your work isn't overlapping or hanging over the edge of a kiln shelf in case of glazes running. Unlike a bisque pack, glaze work cannot touch in the kiln. There must be at least a finger's width between each piece. In Bellenden Road, we separate dark glazes and white glazes onto different layers. This makes sure there is no flashing in the kiln. Flashing is when glazes jump from one pot to another during the firing. If possible, we only put dark colours on the bottom shelves in Bellenden Road. Please be aware of oxides. Oxides tend to flash more frequently than glazes, so we like to give 3 fingers width between any pieces that have oxides on the surface. Please take care that any glazed work isn't too close to the elements. If glaze gets onto the elements or the brickwork, it will cause them to erode at a much more accelerated pace. Make sure to wipe your hands in a towel every time you have placed a glazed piece into a kiln. Otherwise, glaze residue from your fingers will transfer onto the next pot you handle and will ruin its surface. Now, once you've packed your kiln, you close your lid and you switch on using the switch connector. This sends power to the controller, this device here at the front of your kiln. This device contains all of the programs for glaze, bisque and drying cycles. Simply press the right arrow and then scroll through using the up and down arrow to select the right program. Program 1 is bisque, program 2 is glaze, and program 3 is a bisque drying cycle. Once you have reached the right program, you can press the start button. Once you press the start button, you should hear a clicking noise, which means that the firing has begun. Please make sure you get another member of staff to check that you have programmed the kiln to the right temperature. Once the kiln has been turned on, put an extraction tube over the top of the kiln. Make sure that it is not resting on the kiln, as this is a fire hazard. The tubes direct any harmful fumes out of the studio. Next, place half shells on top of the kiln and stack work that has begun to go off or dry on top of them. Do not put wet work on top, as this will make the drying process too fast and cause cracks in pots. Apply the same rules as packing a bisque when stacking these shelves. When the kiln reaches 400 to 600 degrees, it is time to bung it. All harmful fumes have now been burnt off, so we can remove the extraction tube and bung any holes that are allowing heat to escape the kiln. Try and bung the kiln closer to 600, although it is safe to bung at 400. That concludes your kiln training for today. I hope this has helped to shine some light on some issues or questions that you may have about kilns. If unsure when packing or unpacking a kiln, please ask a more senior member of staff for assistance or refer back to this video in the future. Thank you very much and have a lovely day.